Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Stupid Questions. So, today we have with us Gajesh Mitkari. So, Gajesh is a graphic designer. He completed his bachelor's in graphic design from NID, that is National Institute of Design. His major work of interest lies in illustration, user interface and user experience, expressive typography, packaging, poster design, photography, filmmaking, and art direction. Other than primarily working for all these, he is into design research, marketing through digital trends, and business strategy. Having a 3-year experience as a freelance graphic designer, he has worked for various brands, companies, and independent filmmakers on research and development. He was closely involved in projects from brands like Unilever, IBM, Netflix, Close Up, MasterCard, and Beardo. Along with working with these bigger brands, he worked with a couple of startups as well. Through the journey till now made him understand how design management in business works and how it benefits the business in lot of ways. The passion to learn and explore more and an eye of details made him capable of turning ideas into reality, commercial or personal projects. So we welcome you, Gajesh. I request you to start with the presentation.
Hello everyone, I hope you all can hear me. Uh, so I hope you guys are comfortable with English, and if not, I'll shift to Hindi or Marathi because I feel comfortable shifting to my comfortable languages. So I'll directly go to my portfolio because I think this introduction is enough for all of you to know who I am as a person and what I've been doing. So I'll directly go to my Behance portfolio first. What I have planned is basically first I'll talk about a few of my projects, the process that goes behind it, and how we carry a project forward. And later on, if we get time, if the time allows, we'll also shift to my Instagram account because I also post a lot of comics there, my personal work. And also in the end, my personal NID portfolio, which I made when I applied to NID in 2016. So let's move on to my Behance portfolio. I'll start sharing the screen now. Let me know if any of you get any interference when I'm sharing the screen. Just 1 second. Can you all see my screen? Even if I can get a one yes, I'll just, you can see my screen, right?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay, great.
yes, Akshata.
Yeah, great. So I would like to start with a project called Tourism Through Augmented Reality. It was my project which I did in college. Now, basically what this project focused on was you guys might have a clear idea of what augmented reality is because you are Gen Z generation who are very well equipped with the technology that we have. Now, what I did is basically, as my major is illustration, I illustrate a lot. I make a lot of drawings. So keeping that in mind, I made posters for tourism industry in India. It was just a hypothetical. Hypothetical means a project which is not sponsored or maybe funded by anybody, but which I did on my own. So I worked on this idea in which the basic focus on historical and mythological sites in India. Just 1 second. So yeah, so we focus on enhancing the experience of travel for people. So basically, when you go there, right, when you go to a historical place like Ajanta and Ellora and Aurangabad, when you go there, basically there's a lack of information about the space, right? So what can we do about it? So for that, I made illustrated posters. I'll quickly jump to the posters because this process you can later on check on the link that I'll provide to Vishal sir. So just 1 second. These were the posters that I made. So basically what you have to do is just open the Incredible India app, scan the posters, and every information that you want to know about or that you are curious to know about, like the history of the place, the geographical location of the place, what exactly happened in that place, how did that place come in reality. So all these things will happen. And for this particular project, I focused on the 12 Jyotirlingas in India. Okay, so these are only 3 of the posters that I've put in this project, and the idea was to produce 12 posters for 12 locations. So this is one of the most important projects I worked on till now. Then moving on to the next project. we have a stop motion film. So what I'll be doing during this entire portfolio is basically showing you projects from every category that I know. So before you saw augmented reality pictures, which are illustrated, this is a stop motion film. So if you guys, I know you might have a clue of what stop motion is, but if you don't know, let me just clear it out. Stop motion is another way of animating things. In traditional animation, what you do is you sketch every sketch like for 1 minute, for 1 second. For 1 second, you make 24 to 12 frames. And stop motion, you click pictures and then you make a film. So I'll just quickly talk about the process, and if I'll request Vishal sir, if it's possible, we can show you guys the film also. So the any project involves basically the first important part is the research and production, like the pre-production of the project, where we research about our topic. So my topic was basically to talk about the religious issues that we are facing. So then the images associated with it. Then the research also include a few articles and newspaper articles that were related to the topic that I was focusing on. Then the statistics of how many people actually suffer, what exactly happened. Because for any project that you will be doing later on when you join a design college, it won't be like you get an idea and you start working on it. You have to have a solid research. There are stages which will follow. So research is a very important stage, which is like the foundation of whatever you do. Okay, so then we also focused on the current things that are happening in our country. Then when you start shooting the film, how do you produce the film? So these are like behind the scenes before editing the film. So you can actually see the rawness. You can see the yellow filter on it because the images are not edited. Then we move on to what I'll call it as color correction. So if you see here, when you see the behind the scenes, you can actually see a paper which has like tapes put on it. So then you crop the part that you need for the film. You color correct it. Basically, you remove the yellow, enhance the colors that you want to show. Like in these, you can't actually see the grains that we have used. When you color correct it, you have the thing. Then you have to design the title of the film, then some of the behind the scenes, how we shot the films. Now being a student, it won't be like you will get you'll get funding from somebody to do your projects. You'll have to do a lot of jugaad behind it. The same thing that I guess you might be doing right now also to prepare your portfolios. So even as students, even as graphic design students, even we have to do a lot of jugaad. So we never had a tripod, so how do we do it? So we put table on top of table, and then we set up cameras there, and then a normal bulb would also work for us, and connect the camera to your laptop, and then by doing all this jugaad, you shoot your film. And promotional posters for the film, because film was screened in NID. So we had to make posters, put it around the team, put it on the campus. And we were a team of 3 people and guided by 2 of our faculties. So this is how a project is made. Then we'll move on to a few of my illustration projects, illustration based projects, like completely illustration. Before this, we saw illustration posters and a stop motion, but now we'll just focus on illustration. Now, this was a pro bono project. Now, what pro bono is basically a project which is self sponsored. Self sponsored is basically self initiated. You get an idea, you work on it. Okay. Nobody is sponsoring it. You're not working for anybody. So, the primary idea was me being a 90s kids. There were a lot of things which I remember from my childhood, a lot of sweets, a lot of chocolates, candies, a lot of cold drinks. So my idea was to basically take interviews from people, from my audience who is available online on Instagram, ask them their sweetest memory from their 90s thing. And then we had this Harnick Phantom cigarettes, which were not actually cigarettes, they were actually candies. So yeah, it was so. And the next thing is Campa Cola, which was a ripoff of Coca Cola. And we used to get these a lot. So after conducting a lot of interviews, basically talking to a lot of my friends, I got a list, and from that list I made like 6 basic illustrations of the things that people really miss. So Campa Cola and Phantom cigarettes were one of them. Then we have Ice Gola. Now why I included Ice Gola is basically we get Ice Golas nowadays also. But I guess during 90s and all, it was a regular thing for all of us. We never used to look at it in a way ki we are having street food or anything, but every week we used to have Ice Gola. So even that I remember a lot, because nowadays we don't see a lot of stalls of Ice Golas. Then we have Pale Mango Bite, when we have the Rawal Gaos Pan Pasan Pan Gold. I guess some of these are still available, but yeah, it's pretty hard to find them. So this was a full-fledged illustration-based design. Uh, then there's another illustrated series, which is basically about me and my dog. So I have Dashin. Dashin is basically a sausage dog. We call it as a hot dog. So we have a very special bond. I almost call my pet dog as my younger sibling, my younger brother. So what I did is basically whatever we do together, I try to illustrate it uh, and put it as a story. So this is a series of 6 illustrations in which we selected one single topic, and according to that we worked on illustrations. Like the first one is Fugi and me whenever we go to a garden. Then we have just 1 second. Okay, yeah. Then Fugi when I get ready for work. So he has a habit of pulling all my clothes. So if anybody has a dog, they might know what I'm talking about. They basically try to hold you back at your place, which is at some point annoying but also very cute. So that was also one of the very important topic for my comic. Then we have the next topic is Fugi sleeping in my lap after a tiring day. So we have this carpet in which both of us sit together, and he sleeps in my lap. So then there's one more thing when he farts. So yeah, there are times when Fugi also farts. So for that also I made a comic. Then playing with him and taking him for a susu break and everything. So basically for comics, so if you are into comics or later on if you think you will be making comic, what you have to do is take inspiration from things around you, from people around you, from objects around you, from animals around you. And this is a very important project to also help you understand like how inspiration can be taken from anything around you. Like these are my normal everyday incidents, but how can we convert them into something which is feasible for a larger audience. Okay, so this is how a comic is made. Comic is basically taking inspiration from everyday things, everyday objects around you. Moving on to a next project, which is a fully packaging design project, in which you won't see how illustration coming or filmmaking coming. Packaging is basically, we all know, we all buy products, we all buy things for ourselves, and whenever you buy something, it never comes as it is. It will come with a packaging, it will come with something outside it, right? So basically this was one of the project that I did during the course. The brand is Champ. It's a t-shirt brand, and for that t-shirt I have designed this packaging. I'll quickly go through the process because it's a very big project. These are some initial pictures that I took of the packaging that was finally made. So the brief was very simple: to design a packaging for any product that you want to do it for. Like I selected a t-shirt and the duration was 3 weeks. Now how do you divide a project? First you try to understand your product. Okay, so if my product is t-shirt, so how do we sell a t-shirt? We can fold it, we can roll it, we can also hang it on the hangers. We can so there are multiple ways to actually sell a t-shirt in a packaging, right? And selecting one of them is very important because according to that you will design your packaging. Okay, so what I did was basically selected the easiest way to make a t-shirt because it also takes very less space. Then we make test mock-ups for our final packaging. Okay, like how is it going to look, which one might work. So like explorations we call it. You do like 10-15 explorations, and from them you select 2-3, and from that you do one. Okay, so this is like a very simple idea of how the thing works. You get your t-shirt, you fold it from 2 sides, you roll it, okay, and then you put it inside this simple packaging, close the packaging. Okay, then we have the mock-ups. It can also be hexagonal packaging. Then these are the digitally rendered mockups. Now, why I selected a triangle is basically because they are stackable. It's very easy to stack. Then you select a brand. Which brand are you working from? So, as I already told you, the brand is Champion. So, and I took a theme as FIFA. So, what I designed is basically in the end, t-shirt design packaging for when the FIFA is going around. Like we have IPL, we have FIFA. So these are the packaging for, and these are the stages. Okay, initial idea to the final output. How the initial idea was a very small, simple mock-up, and how the final output looks, and the final packaging documentation. Okay, so this is how the final packaging will look. And then you'll add all the other things which you need to add, like the logo of the company, the logo of the team that you're working for, even a QR code if the people want to know more about the company or the team. And the best way is you can stack them together. So you put your t-shirt and you stack them together. You also have a hanger which you can roll and use. And you also have the information available inside the packaging of the team. Okay, so this was the final packaging. And we had a few advertisements also. So advertisements are basically you use the same pictures and you add the text that is required. What is the brand? What is the company that you're working for? Very simple. Okay. So this was a packaging design project. Moving on, we will go to a branding project. Okay. Now, what is branding? Branding is something which every company or a small business requires to put themselves out in the industry. For example, you wouldn't know Apple without Apple's logo, right? You wouldn't know Apple without Apple's branding. Branding includes logo, packaging, everything associated with the brand, everything that you see outside. You want to go to McDonald's. What will you tell the Uber driver? I want to go to the McDonald's, right? You won't just say, I want to have burger, take me anywhere you want to take me, right? So McDonald's is the name. McDonald's is the brand of that company. Okay. Now, this is a hypothetical project. Again, hypothetical is basically you yourself, out of your own, ideas, you worked on it. Now, Ann Walsh is a creative agency and a design studio based in New York by another designer called Jessica Walsh. They recently worked on their identity, brand identity, everything. And what's special about them is they don't have one single logo. Okay, they have like multiple logos. They have 16 identities. They have 16 logos. And I wanted to understand how a brand like Ann Walsh works, because whenever you see a brand having only one logo, right? Only one or two identities, which can be editable later on. Like Apple is available in white and black and every color that they want to produce it in, right? But do you change the entire logo? No, right? So to understand that, I worked on this project in which I created my own ampersand. Now, what an ampersand is basically the punctuation mark you use for and, A and D. Okay. So this was the 2D form that we sketched. Then we made final strokes on it. Then we inked it. And eventually we converted it into 3D. Okay. And then we made mock-ups for it. Now, what are mock-ups? Mock-ups are basically what you use to tell people about your brand. Like, all these visiting cards, all these posters are not real. They are all created on computer to give you an idea of what the brand is about. They are called mock-ups. Okay. So like all these posters you make. Okay. You make posters about the brand, what they do. You make t-shirts, you make visiting cards. So these are called mock-ups. They give you a very clear idea of what the brand is about. Okay. So this was and Walsh, another ampersand for you guys. Moving on to type design, expressive typography. Okay. So this was one of my, again, another self-initiated project in which what I did was basically, now I think all of you are very familiar with Marathi and Hindi. Marathi and Hindi are languages. Okay, but we use a script called Devanagari. Ka, kha, ga, gha, cha, cha. This all is a script. Okay, now 47 days of Devanagari type is basically every day for 47 days you take one letter from Devanagari type from the from the series, and you try to create your own version of it. Now what I did for that is basically I selected to do a 3D version of all of that. Okay, not just 2D, not just paint, because I've been illustrating, as I've been painting a lot. How about we do 3D, something 3D, right? So for my 47 days of Devanagari, what I did is this. Just 1 second, it's loading. So what you can do is basically it's a 3D form. You can interact with it. If you guys can see, I can rotate it around. I can see the form. Okay. I'll also show you guys what 2D is. Okay. Another 3D Devanagari type. Kha. Let me just quickly. Okay, yeah. So with this also you can interact. You guys can do it later when I'll provide the link. Okay. So there's nothing to worry about. Another letter go. So I won't go into that. I'll quickly show you guys some more versions of this in 2D. Okay, so the rest of them are 3D. This is what we call as 2D, flat design. There's no form to it. There's no shape to it. It's very flat. Okay. So this is also what you can do during that series. 2D, 3D. You see the difference now. So this is what type design is. Now you see how versatile graphic design is. We have covered illustration, we have covered posters, identity, we have covered packaging, stop motion. Moving on, one of my favorite project, which I guess most of you will also like, it's called Girni. And I did this during my one of my college assignments. Okay. Uh, I'll pause in between for just to make clear if I'm still audible and everything is still pretty clear. I just want a yes from somebody. Everything is going smoothly, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. Perfect. So moving on to the next project, Girni is a graphic novel. Now, what is a graphic novel? Graphic novel is just like any other book, but with pictures. Graphic means visuals, right? And graphic novel, you know novels, right? The um, many novels you might have came across till now. So graphic novel is with something with visuals, which has pictures, which has illustrations. Okay. Now, this project is to explain people how a graphic novel is made, how a graphic novel is designed. Okay. Now, the name of the graphic novel is Girni, inspired by the Great Bombay Textile Mill strike, which happened in 1983. Okay, in Bombay. I won't go in the history, which you guys can later on research and read about. I'll just talk about how it is made. Okay, so these are few of the pages that I sketched uh, during that thing. These are all handmade, hand sketched on paper and inked using microns. Okay, simple microns. I'll tell you how they are made. The process will come later on in the presentation, so you don't have to worry about that. Moving on, a few more pages, and how the digitized final version looks. Again, line drawing, how the line drawing looks here. Okay, and how the colored version looks. This is all hand drawn, by the way. Okay, so these are the final pages. Now we'll go on to the process, how the process of making a graphic novel works. So first you have to pick up an inspiration. Now, as I told you earlier, the inspiration for this book was the 1983 Bombay strikes, right? Now, your inspiration can be anything. Independence of India, 1947. It can be the Satyagraha for salt by Mahatma Gandhi. It can be anything. It can be the birth of Bollywood in India. Okay, so topic for making a graphic novel can be anything, but you have to do a very proper research of all that. Now, I had to focus on the underworld of Bombay during that time, so I had to watch a lot of movies also according to that, documentaries as well, a lot of pictures I have to compile together to get inspiration from. So why do you need documentaries and films and all these pictures, you might ask, right? Because when you're sketching, when you're making all these sketches, you have to have an idea, right? How the Bombay used to look in 1980, or how what kind of clothes do these people used to wear. You need to have all these ideas, right? So that's why you need to have the basic idea. Then you also talk to experts in that field. Like Vijay Kumar Armugam sir is an illustrator and a very famous artist. And fortunately, he was there in the college when I was working on this project. So before starting, I talked to him. I asked him, how do you go about it? And the same thing he told me, you need to have a very proper backed up research for it. Okay. And then you also decide on what exactly is your target audience that you're working on. Because at some point, there's a lot of killing that is happening in this particular graphic novel. So we can't show it to kids, right? So for that, you have to also decide a specific target audience. Okay. So it will depend on the topic that you select. Then you make a rough sketch of your characters that are going to be in your graphic novel, and you actually create your characters. So these are not actual real people. Okay, these are the names that I've given to them. These are the professions that I've given to them. This is the age that I have given to them. So you create basically your own world. The best example for creating your own world is Stan Lee. Avengers, you guys might have seen Marvel and DC. It's not real, right? Somebody has created them. Somebody has written these characters. Somebody has sketched them. Then moving on to the character, you develop your character. You sketch a lot of variations of how the character is going to look, what are they going to wear, okay, their facial expressions, when they are angry, when they're confused, when they are asking something. How do they look? How does their eyes look? How do we sketch their eyebrows? Okay. Then drawing different body postures. If they are sitting and talking to somebody, if they are trippy, if they are not in their senses, they are feeling dizzy. How they will, if they're confused, if they are I'm really sorry to show the sketch, but if they're killing somebody, because it is the base of the story, if they're lifting something, playing with somebody, holding a bat or pointing a gun towards somebody in perspective, okay, then again all these, again we play with perspective. If they're jumping on somebody, if they're running somewhere, okay, if they're talking to somebody who's lying down, all these sketches are very important. Then you do the layouting. Once your characters are ready, you do all the layouting. What will happen in the screen. So layouting, I'll give you a very simple idea. Storyboarding, we also call it storyboarding. It also happens in films. When you're shooting something, you don't directly start shooting. You make your sketches first, where the character is going to stand. If you're, for example, if one of you end up becoming a filmmaker and you end up working with Ranveer Singh and you want to make a film, you won't directly take a cinematographer or a camera person and start shooting. Okay, you have to plan it out. You have to look at your script. You have to see what the dialogues say. You have to sketch out everything. This is where Ranveer is going to stand. This is where he's going to jump from. This is where the actress is going to stay. This is how he's going to dance. Everything you have to sketch. Okay? And that sketching process is called storyboarding. So these are all storyboards of our story. Okay. Then once a storyboard is ready, you break your story into chapters, because eventually it's going to be a book, right? And a book cannot be completely made into a 300 400 pages ka book. You can't make it into, a simple plain one chapter book. You have to divide it into different things. Like we have in Gita, we have different adhyayas, right? Adhyay 1, adhyay 2, just like that. We have chapter 1, chapter 2. So, and that you plan the location. You also have to plan the location. Where is this happening? What is the location? How do we plan the location? Where is the house of the protagonist? Protagonist is the people, the hero of the film. Then make the final layout of your story. Okay, these are like very rough sketches. I'll quickly open and zoom into them. You have seen the final of this. Now, these are the rough sketches of your story. More layouting, as many as you can. Then you also decide the title of the book, right? The title is very important because that is going to be on your cover, and people are going to buy your book only like by looking at your cover first, right? The cover is the first impression of your book. So then you design the title of the book. Then you play along with the color, the medium, the style that you want to use. So these are very vibrant colors for a graphic novel that I was planning. So these were cancelled. Again, very vibrant and very bright colors. So this is a very good example of how we sketch first, we make the layouting first, very rough sketches, and how we digitally I think his name is Bablu Bhaiya from Mirzapur. He was the protagonist of the advertisement. It was a 1 minute advertisement designed specially for social media. And it was everything was done post COVID. Hello? Does somebody want to ask anything? I heard somebody. Okay, we'll continue. Moving on, we have the posters for social media. We have the longest spread, the like landscape version for social media. We have the portrait version for the stories on social media, and the title of the advertisement, How to Unleash the Beard Inside. Let me tell you, this ad was made post COVID. So everybody who worked on the ad, they were all there like inside their houses. Okay, nobody ever met for this ad. So Vikrant was inside his house. I was working from my home. The director was working from his home. The musician was working from his home. So that all happened. Okay. So the ad you can see later. You can watch later, definitely. Let's not entertain that here. Okay. Then moving on to, I guess, I think that's all. Actually, there are a lot more projects, but I'll just stretch time. What we can do is we can quickly move on to any questions if you guys have regarding any of the projects that I've showed till now. Anybody has anything to ask? Please feel free. Hello.
I have a question for you. So,
Yes, please
what
go
is
ahead.
the medium you use for illustrations?
Okay, hi.
So, as in,
Hello.
if it is
So,
digitally, yeah,
yeah, sure, sure. No worries. So, first of all, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. If you can just tell me your name quickly.
Pranoti.
Sorry, Pranoti. Hi, Pranoti.
Pranoti, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what we basically do is once you have an idea, once you know what you want to work on, what I'll do is I'll quickly open another project. And by explaining that, by going on through the project, I'll tell you how it works. Okay. So Umbrella Academy is one of a series on Netflix. Now, when I was working on the project, when I was working on the poster, what we do is we sketch the idea first. Just 1 second, I'll quickly go down. Okay, there's no sketch available. I'm really sorry. But what we do is we make thumbnails. Okay, I personally make thumbnails. I personally sketch them in my sketchbook or on a rough piece of paper. Okay, and once that is done, I either scan the sketch or take a picture of the sketch, then digitize the thing. Okay, so what I use is I used to use Photoshop and Illustrator before I had my iPad. So I use a Wacom tablet. A Wacom tablet is the best thing that you can have if you're not planning to buy an iPad. It's pretty cheap if you look at it from that way. Wacom tablet, you connect it to your laptop and do everything digitally on Photoshop. So Photoshop was the first tool that I used to use, and all the posters that you see, the Aakho Dekhi film poster, Gully Boy poster, Chacha and Hazel Newton poster, all these posters are designed on Photoshop. Recently, I moved to Procreate on iPad. So now all the illustrations that you see on your screen, Navratri 9 Matchboxes, Oogie and Me, Sweet Memories of 90s Kids, they're all done on Procreate. Okay, so currently I'm using Procreate. So yeah, that's all. I hope that answers your doubt. Anything else anybody wants to ask? No more questions? Guys, feel free, guys. There's nothing to worry about here.
I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
How do you approach your ideas, your creative ideas? Your work is really nice.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm sorry, what's your name again?
My name's Dishant.
Hi, Dishant. Okay, first of all, thank you so much for your kind words. See, Dishant, as I told you, right, it's very important to have a good process while you're working on something, right? Now, the thing is, I'll tell you this, I'll give you this to everybody of you, this very simple piece of advice. Whenever you're working on something, whenever you have an idea, never immediately start working on it. Okay, try to find more solutions for the same idea. Okay, for example, let's see, what do we have here? What can I open to tell you guys what I mean? I'll quickly open a project. Just 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Everyday illustrations. Okay, yeah, good, great. So, Dishant, what happens is whenever you're working on something, whenever you get an idea, you don't directly start working on it. You do your backup research. Okay, you always try to look for much more better ideas. So, for example, I guess most of you don't do digital that much because, and even like it's not even your like you should start with traditional sketching and regular, using your tools. You can move on to digital later on, but what you guys should do is practice on your skills more. Okay, now whenever you get an idea, Dishant, what you should do is write about what you're thinking. For example, let's see, if you want to create something regarding a new series on Netflix, let's see if you want to work on something for Mirzapur. Okay, so what you'll do is you won't directly start working on it. What you should do is, what can you do for the same idea? What do I have to make? Should I make an illustration which has Munna Bhaiya, Guddu Bhaiya, and all in all that, or should I make an illustration which has a scene from Mirzapur? Okay. So the first thing is just writing down your idea, what you're thinking. Okay, and then looking for the best possible way to execute them. So I'll get back to Girni. I'll quickly tell you what exactly I'm talking about because I think my language might be getting complicated. Now, whatever you see here on your screen, guys, this is not the final thing I made, right? These are all just some sketches that of the ideas that I had in my mind. If you see, very rough, very random sketches. Okay, and only a few of them actually made it in the end for the final thing. See, none of them you saw in the final pages, right? None of them, even though some of them are actually really good. Why did that happen? You sketch all that, you sketch whatever there is in your mind, and select the best out of them. Okay, so that's how you get ideas. You have idea, make as many explorations as you can. Getting back, explorations. Same thing happens when you're not only working on illustration but also packaging. You remember this? One second. I'll quickly slide down to yes. You see this? How did we get the final output? We didn't actually think of something and directly made it, right? We actually went through a process which has the initial idea, second idea, third idea, fourth idea, final refined idea, and then the final output. Okay, so that is the process that we all follow. We all designers who are working as professionals. We don't directly jump onto something. Okay, make as many explorations as you can. Okay, and keep yourself up to date with the new trends, with whatever is happening around you. That is the best possible way to get keep getting ideas. That's what I guess works. For to explain that in a much better way, what I'll do is after this I'll just move on to my Instagram and I'll show you the comics that I make because those comics are socially relevant. They are worked on considering what is happening around the uh, country or the world. So I guess that answers your question, uh, Dishant.
Yes.
Great. Anybody has any other questions? Please feel free.
Rashmi has a question. How do we come
Yeah.
across different
I'm sorry. I'm losing you. I'm losing you. I can't
Also,
actually hear you.
Mansi is asking, should we? Hello,
No,
can you hear
you're
me?
not. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. So Mansi also has a question. Should we feel guilty for taking references for a project or works?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Okay. First of all, Mansi, right? Mansi, remember one thing. Every artist start by by taking references from something. Okay, and it's very important later on also. It's not just a start process. The references, you shouldn't feel guilty first of all because you know creativity is the output of observation. Creativity is the output of taking inspiration from things. Okay, you can't come up with something new because there are already a lot of things happened in the industry. Okay, referencing is very important to work on your skills, to work on your ideas a lot. Even I take references, I'll give you that. Okay, even I take references a lot. For Girni, as I told you, for the graphic novel, I've shown you guys pictures of documentaries, everything, and that is very important. Okay, and even when you eventually end up becoming a designer, you'll realize why references are important. Because for example, guys, for example, let's get back to the point where I said one of you end up becoming a filmmaker. They work with Ranveer Singh. Now the film is about let's say Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. You all know Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, right? Now, when you want to make a film on a historical personality like Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, it's obviously going to be just like Bajirao or just like any other historical film that was made before previously. Now, I'm telling you this example is before making the film, you'll obviously have to do your own research, right? What exactly they used to wear when during their time, what kind of clothes do they used to wear, what kind of jewelry they used to wear, what kind of interiors their palaces or their castles used to have, right? What is that? What is that research? That is taking references, right? You'll watch a lot of films. You'll watch a lot of films which has Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in it. You'll read a lot of books, you'll read a lot of articles, you will see a lot of TV serials also, right? that is also reference in the end. So reference is very important to understand what you're working on. Okay, so you should never feel guilty. You should actually feel proud when you're taking a reference. That's what I feel, because that means you're doing your research. You're actually backing up your design with your research. Okay, so I guess that answers your question. Is that fine? I just need a yes from you guys.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, great, perfect. Any other question?
Okay, so basically, for all the people who are
Yes.
there attending, uh,
Yeah.
we shifted to Zoom because I wanted you to ask directly any questions. So don't put it in the chat. You can just unmute yourself and ask him. Okay?
Yeah, feel free to use any language. Like, I'm
Yeah, you
comfortable
can.
with Hindi and Marathi as well.
No, it's not about language. It's about like people feel awkward
Are they
asking.
shy?
So that's why that's
Don't
why
be
the
awkward.
name stupid question is there. But still, people
Yeah, just
ask.
ask.
You just ask. No
It's very
problem.
important.
Gajesh is ours only.
Yeah, yeah, very like feel very free. Don't worry.
So I had a question that how did you come across different kind of projects?
Um, Different kind of commercial projects, do you mean, or just like my personal projects?
Like any, both.
Okay, okay. So see, how I go about it is, I'm sorry, can you please tell me? Because I can't actually. Okay, anyways. So how it actually works is basically, um, you you have seen a lot of my projects are self-sponsored or self-initiated projects. Like I do them myself, and I keep on putting them online. I keep on putting them on my social media. I keep on putting them on my Behance. That is, you guys are seeing that right now. Okay, and by looking at all these projects that I do generally, any possible client or any possible company or brand who would like to have something similar for their brand or their business, they approach me, and that's how I get commercial projects as well. At this point, what happens is, I've also developed a very good network of people in the industry, design industry. And if something like something related to an illustrative illustration based project comes, people generally recommend my name, people generally recommend my portfolio. So that's how I get commercial projects. So it's always, how much work do you put outside. It's really important, because our generation is very blessed with the technological advances that we have. Okay, we have social media, we have all these websites where you can upload your portfolios, we have LinkedIn where you can connect with anybody from around the world, no matter who it is. Okay, if you have the potential, you can connect with Elon Musk also. Okay, so that is easy to make use of that. Upload your work everywhere, approach people, talk to people, grow your network, and you'll get work. You'll definitely get work. And I guess that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Great, great. Any other question?
Sir, I have
I
a
have a
question.
question.
What is
Okay,
the
great.
average time you take for completing a project?
Hi. So it depends on the project. Okay. Also, the next time you're asking something, you can be like, "Hi, this is." You can take your name, because I like to mention name of the people, of the person, and then say. But anyways, so what I do is, it depends on the project. Yeah. So for example, if it's a self-sponsored, self-initiated project, it can take anywhere between 1 day to 1 week to 1 month. Okay, because it's also about how much clarity you have of your own ideas. Okay, like the Fugi and Me series, it was done in a span of 3 weeks. So one illustration took 3 days. Okay, Sweet Memories of a 90s Kid, it was done in the span of 6 days, one illustration per day. Okay, tourism through augmented reality took 6 weeks. Okay, because the planning, because of everything. Now, for personal project, it can take up to any amount of time, 1 hour to 1 month. You never know. It depends on how much clarity you have on what you want to work on. But if you're working for a company, for a brand, for a client, for a freelance project, you actually have to divide your time. Okay, because for example, eventually, if you are the designer and I'm the client and I hire you, Okay, and I tell you, I'm launching my brand, my cafe, in another 7 days. We'll say 14th of November, and I need an identity, a logo for my brand. So you have 6 days in your hand to finish it off, right? And if I say that we have a lot of time, I'm going to launch my cafe in 2021, then you also have a lot of time in your hand. So the client-based project, the outside project for brands that you work on, it depends on what the client tells you. Then you have to finish it off in any given duration, okay? No matter what you do, because eventually it also helps you create a professional bond in the industry, right? And if you end up maybe slacking a little, or maybe not doing it properly, that will affect your reputation in the industry. So self-initiated, take as much time as you want, but do something which you're proud of. Client project, that it can't be like that. Sometimes you have to look at what your client is asking for, right? So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great. Any more questions?
Wish, can you start your
Hello,
camera,
sir.
please?
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
and
really sorry.
everyone, you also start your cameras, please. Yeah.
Hi, can you all hear? Can you all see me?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yes, sir. Hello. My name is Shreya.
Hi.
So I wanted to
Hi,
ask,
Shreya.
like, do you enjoy commercial projects more or the self-initiated ones, like that you do on your own?
Very nice question. I really like it. Uh, to be very fair, to be very honest, I'll say self-initiated, because what happens in a creative field. Obviously, you're a creative, okay, and you want to work on the things that you like to work on, right? And what happens in a client-based project or a project that you're working for somebody else is you have few of the restrictions, till you set up yourself in the industry. So when you have restrictions, right, you actually have to hold back some of the things that you actually want to work on. Like, for example, if I wanted to use a specific style for illustrating something, I can't do it because the client might not like it and for his brand. Okay, the client might want something else. But for self-initiated, I can do anything that I want to work on, right? I can make a book, I can print t-shirts, I can illustrate in any possible style that I want to illustrate in. I can put it anywhere. So there's a lot of freedom when you're working for yourself, right? So obviously self-initiated is always what I'll prefer. But to be very honest, like, you have to balance both. You definitely have to balance both, because if you keep on doing self-sponsored, uh, like, you won't actually be able to work on live projects. You won't be able to actually work on with a team on something which is going to cater to a larger audience, right? So yeah, I think, but preference is always to self-sponsored, yeah, self-initiated.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
you're most welcome. Any other question? Can you stop the screen? Yeah, I've stopped it. Or I guess the message got delivered late. Any other question, anybody? Hello? Guys, any other question?
Hi, Pranati again. So I
Yes,
have
hi,
a
Pranati.
question. After college, so did you start taking personal projects, or you worked as a freelancer, or you worked for some company or a job?
Okay, so I just finished my graduation project, Pranati. So like, I think 3 months, 4 months back, I finished my graduation project, and I'm still not a graduate yet. I just finished my graduation project, so there's still the ceremony is still pending, the juries are still pending. But what I've been doing since I finished my graduation project is basically working on a few freelance projects. So Netflix was one of them. I was doing it along with my graduation project, and after I finished my graduation project, I worked with Mastercard for an advertisement, which is, I think, yet to come out. Yeah. So that was there. And along with that, I was also working on my personal things. Like I've been making a lot of comics, a lot of illustrations, and I've been putting them online on my social media. And yeah, so I am not very sure about if I'll be joining anybody soon, but I really want to, because I want to have an experience in the industry for another 1 or 2 years, and then maybe start doing something on my own. So currently I'm on a break working on my personal things, not taking any freelance for now, because I'm looking for joining a company as a full-time graphic designer. So let's see where it takes me. I'm not very sure, but I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Most welcome. Um, Anything else? There's pin drop silence here.
Um,
Yes, Vishwas.
Gajesh,
Haan,
you
sir.
can share your portfolio.
Okay, great. So moving on to my portfolio when I applied to NID Ahmedabad. Okay, one second. I'm really sorry. It's on my channel. One second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, extremely sorry. It was ready actually, but I'm not very sure what exactly happened here. Oh yeah, you might see a lot of thumbnails in which you can see me, because I also sometimes act in short films. So please ignore them. That is okay. So this is my portfolio back in 2016 when I applied to NID. You'll get a clear idea of
It's
what
not
exactly
visible.
I did when I. Yeah, yeah. I'm really sorry. I forgot to screen share. Like share the screen. I'm sorry. Jumbling with things here. Okay, let me know when the screen is visible to you. I guess it should be visible now.
Yes, it is.
Yes, great. Can you guys see the video? I'm playing it. You guys can see, right?
Yeah.
So this
Yes.
is just a top view of what I did for when I joined NID. Okay, guys, I think that's all. I hope everybody could watch it properly. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we could.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody had any network issues or anything, okay, which I guess somebody might have, in between, no worries. I'll share the link of that video as well. Okay. Yes. Any more questions regarding the portfolio, the NID portfolio that I just showed you?
Uh, what exactly is needed in the portfolio? I mean, how do they judge your portfolio on the basis of what?
Okay. Give me like 1 minute. My dog is here and he's
Yeah.
like, putting his hands on the. Just one second. Okay. I'm extremely sorry. Yeah. So what the look is basically not. See, I won't frame it that way, but obviously how consistent you are with your work. Okay, how consistent. It's not about skill. Okay, because you're joining a college to learn something. Okay, it's not like they are expecting highly skilled people in NID at NID. Okay, and I've seen people who I have seen people who have like very good drawing skills and who have a really strong portfolio, but sometimes they might not get in because what they look at, like how regular you are with sketching, how regular you are with what you want to do, uh, how much you know well how well is your how well compiled or documented your portfolio is. Like you have seen, like my portfolio is basically I have also included butter paper in between so that it shouldn't ruin the other work, right? So what they look at is, first is consistency, second is how confident also you are about your work, because that is also very important. Third is how original are your ideas. Okay, so it doesn't matter how revolutionary or how world changing your ideas are, all that doesn't matter, but how original your ideas are. Fourth is, I'll say, mm, no, I guess that's all. Consistency is important. Your ideas are important, and how confident you are about it. That's all. I'll just suggest to be very consistent with your work. So if you're starting to prepare now, I'll say sketch regularly. Okay, and feel free to show it to them when you clear the round, and when you go for the interview, show it to them that you have been sketching regularly and you have been doing it every day. It should look like it's your passion. It shouldn't look like you have prepared portfolio only to get into the college, right? So I guess that answers your question. I guess.
Yes, it does.
Okay, okay. Anything else if anybody wants to ask?
Okay, I guess nobody has any questions.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I would like to thank you for giving your time and showing your work. I'm sure we all are going to take an inspiration from you.
Ah, thank you so much. No,
Thank you.
it was actually having great having you guys with me here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to actually interact with all of you and to look at my work. And I guess guys got an idea of what we do as graphic designer, and what exactly you guys need to work on when you're going to a design college or a design institute. Okay, and if anything, anytime you have anything, you can ask me directly, or you can also get in touch with me through Vishal sir anytime. And I especially want to thank Vishal sir for trusting me with this because I'm actually doing something like this for the first time. So
Uh,
yeah, there were obviously a lot of live sessions, but this is like for the first time. Yeah.
yeah, no, your work is really nice. I wanted everyone to meet you and take
No, thank you
inspiration
so
from
much.
your work. So whatever
That's
Gajesh has shown, I've been seeing all this work online when he posts on Instagram or Facebook. So there's like, and he is actor also, like a good actor. So he was doing many films. So I thought he's going in that direction of acting. So
yes,
yeah,
that is there.
thank you, Gajesh, for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Okay, I think
So this
that's
loop
all.
of thank you will go
Thank
on
you.
and on.
Yeah, yeah. So no. I think I'll leave. You guys can carry on if you guys want to, but I think
Yeah.
I'll leave now.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope it helped. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Vishal sir. Bye, Vishal sir. I'll
Bye.
connect with
Thank
you. Okay.
Yep.
Bye. Bye.